Alright, part 1 has been an absolute blast, for sure. And now we move on to part 2. Chapter 7, Ganged Upon. Let me check to make sure everything looks fine on the recording. Yep, good. Tirana Rain is late. Already, this whole sidekick thing seems like a very bad idea. You wait in the square alone, feeling excuse me. Feeling a bit self-conscious in your costume. Grandma knew you had to meet Tirana Rain somewhere public to protect your identity. But she could have chosen a better location. This park is a notorious drug center. You feel the eyes of dealers on you from all around, waiting to see why you're here. Not to mention some punk kid recognized you and shouted about how his dog could probably be a better hero than you. What a great first brush with fame, you think. You could also swear one of them is taking photos of you, but before you can locate the source of the flash, your meadship pulses with an alert. Just want to make sure I read Hey, lover, I have an update on that big old crush of yours, Meadship J2 says. Try to keep it in your pants this time, you read me? Turning red, you ignore J2 and open the newsblog clip instead. The Millennial Group gets a touch of magic. Black Magic become group's newest member. As you read this headline, your heart nearly stops beating. There's black magic in the holographic picture, looking more like Natalie Portman than you can stand. You always saw Black Magic as a solo hero like yourself, so it's a bit disappointing that she has decided to join the Millennial Group. Still, you imagine yourself standing next to Black Magic in the photo, your hand secretly on her back behind the cameras. Team or no team, you'd be the hottest celebrity couple in all of MC. Then your mind wanders to you and Black Magic backstage, in a deserted storage closet, pressed up against the wall. Your hands on her chest, her hands sliding down your stomach, unbuckling the belt on your costume. Hello? You hear a sharp voice say, pulling you back to reality. You turn to find Tirana Rain standing next to you, arms crossed. She wears thigh-high boots with 5-inch heels and a tight white costume, which pops against her dark brown skin. Wow, you say without thinking. Nothing about Tirana's outfit is the least bit practical for heroing, especially not the diamond earrings, which probably cost more than your apartment. Of all the lame-ass heroes they could have stuck me with, I get the reject who couldn't even handle an ancient accessory, Tirana sees, eyeing you as if you have leprosy. Looking exhausted, she reaches down into her boot and pulls out a flask. Mommy needs a That, I mean, Yep, Mommy needs a shot. There are so many places I have already taken that phrase. That's a good sentence. Well, aren't you only... Relax, I generate water, remember? The excess moisture in my body keeps me so hydrated it would take an entire distillery to catch a buzz. Tirana says, downing half the flask in one gulp. It takes the edge off if I lace it with some ludes. Now, are we going off some baddies or what? You stare at Tirana, speechless. You really picked a winner here, didn't you? We're going to break up the anti-gang rumble, you say, knowing there's no going back now. You've got to give this whole sidekick thing at least one night or Grandma might kill you. What the slugger is an anti-gang? Tirana says, taking another long pull from her flask. Is that some kind of weird hood thing? Oh, dear. With the splice circle in upheaval, the anti-gangs have decided it is the perfect time to try and wipe each other out to serve the new leader without competition. So the Scales and the Cloven have been trying to kill each other in the streets all week, leading up to one final rumble rumored to be tonight in an abandoned electric plant on the outskirts of the Fringes. After botching the Gravitas case, you decided that stopping gang violence in the Fringes, violence you helped escalate in the first place, would be an excellent smaller-scale way to start rebuilding your reputation. On your way to the plant, you fly beside Tirana. She can move through the air by shooting jets of water from her hands and feet, like high-pressure hoses. The problem is, she moves considerably slower than you. You have to exert extra power to fly slowly enough for her not to fall behind. You are kept mildly entertained, however, as people in the streets below are drenched by the excess water pouring down from Tirana's plane. Yes. How long will this take? Tirana asks. I've got a hair appointment later. You're about to respond when you notice Tirana's mead chip flashing away on her wrist. She is mentally texting while flying. This girl is going to get herself killed, and it'll be all your fault. What on earth possessed you to pick her? So, how do your parents feel about you heroing? You ask, remembering the reason. Tirana looks at you, sending over some grade A death shade. Damn. Damn! Damn! Not just any shade, grade A death shade. Is that why you picked me? Because of who my parents are? Yes. 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 Good to know, Tirana says unfazed. Well, the joke's on you because my parents don't even know I'm here. They don't want me to be a hero at all. Perfect, you think. Not only will Tirana's media connections not help you, but if her parents find out about you working with her, they'll probably torpedo your career even deeper. Don't look so thrilled, wannabe, Tirana says. Even though she'd probably kill you if she knew, Tirana looks ever so slightly defeated. She must have to deal with people using her all the time. After that, you and Tirana continue your flight in silence. Good! Good. I don't care about her feelings. I am using her. What the fuck do I care? It turns out she's useless to me. At least I'm honest, right? You finally approach the abandoned electrical plant, way later than you expected. I can't believe I'm going to stop a gang fight, Tirana says, looking bored. That's so low budget. Can't we do something a little flashier? Just worry about getting out alive. You say your patience at its end, and follow my lead. Wannabe, Tirana says, dropping down toward the plant. I think you should be following my lead. I've so got this. You sigh, diving down after Tirana. Here goes nothing. You crash through a broken window, followed closely by Tirana Rain. But what you see makes you both freeze. You're too late. You're too late. Dozens of anti-gangsters already cover the ground, lifeless and emptied. Also strewn among them are the bodies of 7 heroes, all wearing brown and red costumes. At least you hope that red is from their costumes. You gasp as you realize that all of them are really young, probably some amateur youth startup team that tried to make a name for itself by stopping the rumble. You're about to question the wisdom of bringing your own brand new teen sidekick into this mess, but your attention is stolen by the vicious battles taking place below you. A few dozen anti-gangsters remain standing, their movements blurring together. Lizard tails and venomous fangs rip into coarsely haired flesh. Cloven hooves and twisted antlers bash at thin, scaled torsos everywhere you look. Oh no, you say, frozen in the air. The scene is more grisly than you ever could have imagined. Tirana Rain looks just as horrified, despite her big talk just a minute ago. Unfortunately, her powers can't keep her hovering next to you, so she begins to plummet down toward the fray, terror-stricken. You swoop down to scoop Tirana Rain up, flying to the edge of the plant to drop her off. Listen to me. Do not get involved in the fighting, you shout. I just want you to get all those fallen heroes to safety. Can you do that for me? Tirana Rain doesn't even blink, still frozen with fear. You bet she has never seen anything quite as gruesome as a fringe gang fight before. Can you do that for me? You shout louder, trying to snap her out of it. Tirana Rain finally nods, so you spin around and dive into the fray. You've got to stop this brawl. Now! Okay. Let's slam the ground with giant energy fists to disrupt the fighters. Fuck you, Energy Bomb. Fuck you, Cyclone Winds. BAM! Oh dear. You generate 2 massive fists of purple energy around your hands, the size of small boulders. You then close your eyes and slam your fist into the ground, causing it to erupt in a massive quake. When you open your eyes, you find the Anti-Gang members scattered across the plant, completely battered and disorganized. You can make out the sound of Tirana Rain's voice cheering you on in the background. You smile, thinking this might go smoothly after all. Before you can finish your thought, something sharp sinks into your shoulder. You scream as you feel... Oh dear. You scream as you feel fangs rip at your flesh. Instinctively, you let out a strong energy pulse and the grip loosens. You whip around to see a blonde girl falling to the ground, her hair flared in the shape of a cobra's head. As she hits the floor, you can see your blood dripping from her fangs. Ignoring this sight, you turn your attention back to the remaining anti-gangsters, knowing they'll probably attack you before tearing back into each other. You raise your arms to throw up an energy shield, but find that they've gone numb. Within seconds, you feel the numbness travel down your spine. Then, your legs give out. There must have been some kind of venom in Cobra Girl's bite, because you're now paralyzed from the neck down. You swivel your head desperately to see that the gang brawl has started up again all around you. It won't be long before one of them comes to finish you off. I moved those other heroes out of the line of fire. She was shouting. You hear Tarana Rain shout from somewhere nearby. Why are you lying there? That Cobra Girl bit me and now I can't move, you say. Thankful that you can at least speak. Can you get me out of here? Tarana Rain steps over you to try and move you. But then her face goes blank. The gang members, they're coming for us. Tarana Rain, listen to me. You have to make a stand. Tarana looks ghostly. I don't think I can do this, she whispers. Pull yourself together, you shout. Just do what I tell you. You study Tarana Rain's powered profile while you were waiting for her, so you know how to utilize her abilities in ways she probably doesn't even know herself. Maybe not get too complicated. Maybe create a flood to wash the gangsters out instead of sapping the moisture out of their bodies. That sounds way too intricate and complicated for this girl. Let's fucking create water. I'm sure I'll be fine. Tarana Rain looks down at you like you're insane. However, as several anti-gangsters start to close in for the kill, she gets it together. Closing her eyes tightly, Tarana Rain stretches her arms over her head and begins to scream at the top of her lungs. Immediately, you feel the ground tremble and you turn your head toward the far wall, which has begun to buckle, trickles of water pushing through. Wait, Tarana! What are you doing? That's not what I told you to... You start to say, but it's no use. Before you can finish, the wall gives way and a tsunami crashes through, carrying massive chunks of concrete with it. Your jaw drops. There's no way anyone in here will survive that wall of water. Not even you and Tarana. You close your eyes. At least your body is still numb, so you shouldn't feel much of anything when the water hits. You just hope that you don't end up drowning to death. Then you feel your body jerk violently and swing up into the air. You clench your jaw, expecting a rush of cold water, but all you feel is a sprinkle of mist. You open your eyes to find yourself in Tarana's arms, rocketing into the sky above the tsunami. Below, the remaining anti-gangsters swirl around, desperately trying to survive the whirlpool. Holy slugger, you whisper as the tidal pool winds down, gushing out of the exits. You can't tell if anyone survived. All you know is that no one on the ground is moving. Once the flood clears, Tarana hose rockets you back to the ground and places you down. I didn't know I could do that, Tarana Rain says, astonished. Then, before she can say another word, she faints. I'm really getting tired of saying that full name. Slugger, you think, as you lie in the now silent plant, completely paralyzed. This is not good. I'll be fine. 2 hours later. You're back in the square, having healed yourself enough to fly both you and her back across the fringes. Of course, it's not until you're about to land that she starts to wake up. What happened? She mutters, her eyes fluttering open. I healed myself and got us out of there just as the ambulances were arriving, you answer. I figured neither of us need any official attention for that mess. Oh, that would have been just perfect, Tarana says, attempting to stand. That's just what I need, for my parents to know that I'm hearing behind their backs. At least you have a few brain cells still functioning. Now, where the slugger is my flash? Are you fucking kidding me? You could have killed us both with that tsunami stunt. You probably just killed some of those anti-gangsters. Don't you care at all? It was us or them, she says, getting in your face. They were murdering each other like animals. Literally. Do you feel bad for them? You step back from Tarana, because this is just a waste of time. We're done here, you say, turning to leave. If you never see Tarana Rain again, you'll be a very happy hero. Besides, you've got somewhere else to be. Once Tarana Rain is out of sight, you reach down to your meat chip to make a call. I was waiting for you to ring me back, you intolerable sloot, Ginny says as her holographic image pops up. Meet me in 10 minutes, you say. We've got a lot to talk about. As you take off again, you can swear that you can see more flashes coming from across the park. But you don't have time for that right now. Stopping the anti-gang rumble was a good move, but it's not enough. You were just treating a symptom, placing a band-aid on a wound that needs stitches. No, you know what you really need to do now. You need to cut off the endgame problem at its source. You need to take down what remains of the Splice Circle. Next chapter, the Vigilante. Tirana likes us less. You know, I'm okay with that. I don't want to be her fucking friend. You know what? She can go fuck it. Whatever it is, she can go fuck it. Damn. Well, good job, team. And that's why Batman works alone. Except for the fact that, you know, maybe he's obligated to have a sidekick too, right? You know, contractual obligations. Like, for fuck's sakes. Jesus. I just want to control everything. Is that too much to ask? I just want to control. Why won't you let me control? The world needs my control.